Well, you probably didn't think you'd see this one, but we've got it. West Virginia Hall of Famer Kevin Pittsnogle joins along with his son. We're going to talk West Virginia basketball. We're going to talk Ross Hodge. We're going to talk Quinzy. We're going to talk it all, guys. Stick around. This is Locked On West Virginia.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host here. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking West Virginia basketball, West Virginia sports today again with someone special. But before we get there, we have to notice Game Time, because if you didn't know, you can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your very first purchase. And thank you for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. And by the way, guys, we did almost 500,000 views this past month. So we're really doing well for the off season. Really appreciate you guys for that. It's really good and long form content. So this isn't TikTok. You can't, those guys, they get a lot of views on TikTok, but we're doing really well with it. So we just want to thank you guys for all the support. So this episode is very special to me. And if you're my age, or if you love West Virginia sports history, and it's not so far, it's not like it's way back, but it's been longer than I think a lot of us realize since Kevin Pittsnogle graced the sidelines at West Virginia. And now he's got a son that's doing something, trying to walk that same path. And I got to thinking, what would he think about everything that's happened over the last, basically since John Beilein left, almost came back. It didn't come to fruition. And we had Bob Huggins and the whole thing. And what's going on with his son? Well, we're going to have him on to talk about that. So let's introduce him now. West Virginia Sports Hall of Famer and his son Quinzy joining the show. What's up, guys?
How you doing? How's it going?
Good, man. So it's been one heck of a ride for your boy here, who is just getting started, heading over to North Carolina to play some college hoops, man. You made that choice. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling pretty confident. Definitely showed the most when it came to hospitality and for my family as well as me.
Awesome, man. And you are the spitting. How often do you get told you're the spitting image of your dad? Every day?
Weekly, if not
Weekly?
every day.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know what, though, man? I think it's more of a blessing than a curse, for sure, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you've grown a lot. I was telling you when we were off air, your sophomore year, you released a YouTube video. That's really when I first caught on. I was like, holy crap, Kevin Pittsnogle's got a boy that's playing high school ball. Like, my mind was blown. And then I remember a couple years later, you've grown 3 or 4 inches. I'm like, how big is this kid going to get? Is he going to grow to 6'11"? Do you think 6'11" is still possible for you?
I wish it was, but I capped off at 6'10".
That's okay. That's fine. How would you describe yourself as a ball player, man? Would you say that you're, a tough, hard-nosed kid that likes to shoot it, stretch 4, stretch 5?
I would say I got eyes up, stretch 4. I can spread the floor, but I can also view the court better than most people can for my height. So try to pass the ball when I can.
So you obviously, we talked about, you've chosen Lees McRae as your college. What drew you to them? You said it was the hospitality there in North Carolina. Did your dad's experience at West Virginia help shape your decision-making process?
Oh, yeah, he definitely played a part. I call my not so agent. He helped me out with what I should see outside of the kid standpoint, the professional side of it. So.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure it's probably been great to have a guy like your dad in your corner to kind of guide you. And Kevin, what's it been like from your end to see your boy go through what you went through, but with the picture is completely different, right? It's nothing like what you had to do, right?
Yeah, it's completely different. If we were talking 15 years ago, he would be a small Division I basketball player, probably redshirting so he can pick up some size, having an opportunity to build and grow within a program.
Right.
Right now, just with the way the landscape is, like you just got to get into a program and take that time to build within that program. And now, like the smaller programs are building for the bigger programs, which is just a backwards way of doing it. It's not the greatest way if you're trying to build culture and build teams and build a climate around your program. It's just not a great way to do it. But it's win or go home, it's win or get fired. So with the amount of money that's being paid out to these kids, they just need instant winners.
So, and you were a part of that would be considered. I mean, you guys had a bunch of guys like Quincy on your team, right? Guys that had grown into their bodies, guys that maybe weren't ready right away at the Power 4 level, but they grew into that. Now, you were an outlier. You were killing it as a freshman. But, that's not how everybody does it, right? So,
I was only in that situation as a freshman because we weren't very good.
That's true.
I was 6'11", 200 pounds coming out of high school.
Right.
So to give you an idea, I was 275 when I graduated. So like I was super undersized and was thrown into a situation where I had to perform or given opportunities that most people in that situation wouldn't have gotten had they not been 8-20 the year before.
Right. And you had to come in, was it for Fisher? Was that the reason?
My freshman year, no. My freshman year was just we had like 2 or 3 seniors. One was Chaz Briggs, Josh Yeager.
Oh yeah,
And Coach Beeline's first year, and he was implementing an offense that they didn't necessarily. Josh fit pretty well, but Chaz didn't really fit in the offense too well because he wasn't really a big man that could shoot.
Yeah.
So it gave me opportunities to get in as a freshman, which at my size, I still was completely undersized and got tossed around pretty good my freshman year. So again, like it's just one of those things where in a situation, opportunities came about.
I was thinking about a couple years later with your Fisher, whenever he went out and you had to come in for him and do what you did. But so Quincy, so does it give you confidence, man, that, obviously with all due respect to Lees McRae, I mean, if who knows what the future is going to bring? I know you had to put one foot in front of the other, but I think it's be silly to think that not everybody's looking to move upwards on that upward trajectory. Is that in the back of your mind? Are you working towards that this whole way, or are you just focused on the here and now?
I'm not so worried about the future as right now. Trying to get my feet in the door, work on this upcoming year, see how I do, see what it brings me, and see what the future takes me.
I like that. I think process oriented is the way to go too, man. But I think as a fan, obviously we're hoping that you come around quick to it and prove everybody wrong that you probably should have been a small D1 player at the very least. But like he said, that's the climate we're in, and we can accept that. At least you're in, right? You got a seat at the table, and that's really all that matters. I mean, I see kids at JUCO, doesn't matter where they're at, they're getting paid millions of dollars. You show out, you'll get paid, or go to a place you want to go.
Yes, sir.
So how's it been so far, though? Because is it everything you expected college to be? Like, I know you just made this decision, but like, do you have any expectations or preconceived notions about what you're getting into?
So last year I went to a post grad called 212 down in Florida. It was ran by a former Division I coach who kind of laid it out for me. Didn't give me any easy way out. He kind of set the baseline, but that kind of set me to realize the difference between high school and college to the point where the college jump isn't as much of a jump for me. It's like a little leap.
Gotcha.
All that to come through.
A couple more questions for you here, Quincy. So you talked about, in different interviews, when it came to like your dad and different things like that, you'd said that you'd aim to break the single game block record, average double in a season. Did you accomplish those goals?
I'm not for sure on the block record, but I was close to getting the averaging double. I was a half rebound off. It happens. Just more encouragement to do it next year.
Your summer global squad AAU team was ranked in the top 10, and what was the biggest lesson you learned from that whole experience?
not everybody comes from the same background, but if you work as a team, anything is possible. Our first game together. We played one of the top ranked. Ended up finishing second in our whole thing. We ended up upsetting them in the first round of
Nice.
the Jam Fest. So we all came with a chip on our shoulder, working as a team, trying to play what we can. So
Awesome. And Kevin, you posted there on X, you urged Quincy to play with the chip on his shoulder and make the doubters regret passing on him. Can you expand on that a little bit? Just what you were trying to get across to your boy there?
Yeah, just that there were plenty of people that had opportunities that chose to go a different route for whatever reason, and that he just needs to understand that wherever he ends up, he needs to make sure people understand that if they didn't take that opportunity, that they maybe should have. Just because someone's not there in that moment doesn't mean they can't get there within the time frame, the growth that he's able to show. Just based on the last couple of years, his growth from like kind of what you were talking about, the sophomore year to now, not just physical growth, but his ability and growth over the last 3 years has been astronomical each year. So if he just continues to work hard and works on that same trend, he will see another big jump in the next year or so, where his physical abilities will just take it to that next level.
It don't matter. If you're a 6'10" big that can stretch it, somebody's going to watch it, in my opinion. In this day and age of college basketball, people playing 4 out and 5 out the way they do it, I don't see a world in which if you do that you don't. It's just my opinion. But you can spray it. Like, I've watched enough tape. You can definitely spray. It's crazy how much did you teach him how to shoot? Like, did you teach him like your form and everything? Because it's very similar.
Yeah, I've worked with him on how to shoot. He shoots it a little bit differently.
It's not exactly the same, but it's kind of similar.
It's similar when you watch it. He's still coming along. He's not a shooter. He's more of a in rhythm, in the offense shooter. He tries to play within the team, play within the game, where I was a little more selfish and a little more about, hey, if I'm open, I'm shooting. It doesn't matter if they're a foot away or 3 feet away. Or he doesn't have that mentality, which is all right. Like, he's got more of the mentality of, hey, I'm going to find the guy who's wide open. I'm going to make the best play, not necessarily just shoot over people.
All right, let's go to break really quick. And then on the other side, I got a couple of questions for you, Kevin, about the program and where it stands. We'll be right back, guys. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Game Time. And look, when you're talking about Game Time, we know we're doing it big because the NBA playoffs have been intense with buzzer beaters, fans losing their minds. It's the kind of atmosphere you got to experience live, man. And this year's matchup is already delivering. We know we may get to a Game 7 scenario, but if you want in, Game Time is going to make it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games. Prices on the app actually drop as you get closer. And with last-minute killer deals, panoramic seat views, and no surprise fees at checkout, Game Time is a total game changer. And if you want to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time, do so today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms are going to apply here, but if you download the app, redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off today. Make sure you download the Game Time app for last-minute tickets at the lowest prices, guaranteed, and then you'll ask yourself the question of questions. What time is it? It's game time. All right, and we are back here, Locked On West Virginia in segment 2. I don't have a dew to crack today, guys, but what I do have is a green tea. So with segment 2, we'll pretend like this is a Mountain Dew. Do you drink Mountain Dew, Kevin?
I do not drink soda.
I'm not going to ask Quinzy because I'm assuming he's focusing on diet, man. Or at least I'm assuming they do. I mean, I don't know how kids are in college these days. Yeah. He can probably eat whatever he wants at this point in time, can he?
Yeah. They just take whatever.
Oh, man, that's crazy. So how much have you kept up with it all? I guess that'll be my first question to you. Obviously, I know you've always kept an eye on John Beilein and what he's done. But outside of that, as far as the program goes, did you watch what Hugs did and the whole thing there? And
Yeah, I've kept up, kind of from afar. We usually get to a game or two here and there. We're still only about 2 hours away from Morgantown where we live. So we do get down there, and we try to get down there on occasion to watch games. Now that he's not playing as much, we have a little bit more free time. So he's not in high school, and so we have that time period to get down there and watch some games and stuff. So, yeah, we've kept up with the stuff that's going with Huggins and the stuff that's transpired with DeVries, and now coming into the new coach here.
so I'm assuming you probably got to know Coach Hugs pretty well over the years, or at least knew of, a little bit.
I mean, I know, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't down there hanging out.
Yeah. Do you think they'll ever invite him back into the fold there, as far as whether that be as an advisor of some sort, now that Gordon Gee's kind of out now? I think that was a big kind of a barrier there. And if you don't want to talk on it, you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's what they need, or if I'm not sure if that's what they want. It's going to come down to what they feel is best, and honestly, it's more about money nowadays than anything else. So, what's going to help them produce the most money is what they're probably going to do.
He can help with that. We know he can help with that. I mean, the whole basketball facility, I'm sure you've probably seen it up close and personal. It's apparently one of the best in the country. I've not actually seen it, the practice facility myself. So, but I hear it's really good. What about the Coach DeVries scenario? How did you feel as a fan or somebody that watches the university to see him, number one, not return on the plane after the Big 12 tournament with the team, and then number two, leave in the middle of the night with the son that was paid all that money to only play 8 games? And we're coming to find out a lot about that maybe he wasn't so injured. But anyway, I'm not going to force that upon you, but just generally, how did you feel about how he handled it?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Anytime you're offered better opportunities in life, you tend to take them. You tend to at least look at them and see if that's
fair.
It's not necessarily about the opportunity, but about how you worked into that opportunity and what you did to get to that opportunity. So I think it's a lot about what you've seen with Coach Rod when he left originally, and now he came back. Great. But it's just about maybe the circumstances in which you left, not necessarily why you left or where you left.
Exactly.
For. So it's tough. It's tough to swallow as a fan. It's tough. I'm sure it's tough for a lot of people to swallow. But at this point, it doesn't really change, and it's not going to change or fix anything to worry about it. And then hopefully our team can rebuild and put the guys on the floor that can have an opportunity to win.
And have you kept up with this offseason at all? I know Coach Ross Hodge comes in from North Texas and brought a few guys with him as well. Have you kept up with like details as to like certain players we brought in and stuff?
Not necessarily. I've seen some of the players that they've signed just in passing, like on social media and stuff like that. Right. It seems like they're building a pretty good roster. And until you see what's being ran offensively, defensively, scheme, stuff like that, it's going to be hard to tell just based on talent. Like I could get you a whole great team of one-on-one players that won't do you any good if you're not running anything to put it together.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting, I think, because a lot of the guys they've signed would be considered more like offensive guys, right? And at least a few of them. And Coach Hodge is known for being such a defensive player or a defensive coach. So we're all interested to see how that's going to fit in. But like you said, maybe he's going to change. Maybe he had to do certain things at North Texas that he doesn't have to necessarily do resource-wise at West Virginia. And that maybe he's going to change the philosophy up. We're all excited to see that. You mentioned Coach Rod. Did you stuttering. Did you enjoy the fact that he came back?
Yeah, I was happy to see him come back. I was there when he was coaching, and got a chance to be around his players at that time. And they always had a good climate and culture, and they worked hard and they won games. So it'll be good to see if he can get back to that. It's obviously going to be way different clientele, way different circumstances in college football. But it's exciting to see us get back to the opportunity to have that.
It's funny because we've been getting some intel out of like, how is Coach Rod handling camp situations? How is he handling, courting these player situations? And they're saying, this dude, he ain't changed a bit. Like, he still yells at them. He still coaches them hard, tells them to their face, if you don't like it, you're probably not our kind of guy. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's going to work in this era, do you believe you can still coach players hard like you were coached in this era?
Yeah, I think you can coach players hard. As long as you're honest and upfront and you tell them what's going on before they get there.
Yeah.
And they still commit there and still want to be a part of it, then they know that they're going to be coached coming into it. Now, if he was telling them, hey, it's going to be great, I'm going to cater to you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, then started coaching them, that'd be different. But my feeling is that he's probably having that honest conversation with them and their families about how they'll be coached and what will be done. So that way he can do that and still push them.
We got a 6-second break really quick, guys. We'll be right back. I want to ask in our last segment here, we got like 10 minutes left, guys. I'll ask you a couple questions about what you did after you left West Virginia and things like that. I think a lot of people will be interested to hear about that. Stick around, guys. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right, we are back here with Quinzy and Kevin Pittsnogle. Appreciate you guys for joining in, man. This has been a dream for me to talk to you guys. And, I grew up loving watching the Mountaineers and especially your squads, that Elite Eight squad. So fun to watch. So unique. Would work in today's day and age as well as anything. It's really weird, actually, how much of a shooting team you guys were ahead of your time. Do you think about that a lot?
Oh, yeah, we definitely were a team that would fit more in this era than our own, but that's what made us so special, and that's what made us have the edge on a lot of teams that were way more athletic and probably we should have never been on the same court as get a chance to play against them.
So, I've read a bunch, and some different things. You went into whether it was you worked at a dealership for a little while, you've been a principal. I think one of the most noble things is West Virginia had a disaster, a straight up disaster. And you kind of got what it was like a promotion, or basically you took over as principal during that. Yeah. I really want to highlight that, man, because I think, you stepped up, right? You had to step up. What was that whole time like for you? And you can kind of explain what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, I was the assistant principal at a local high school and working there for the last couple of years. And then we had a position open up where one of our middle schools in our county I went under a state of emergency with a lot of behavioral issues and a lot of things that were going on that, and I applied for the position and got it. And then just, we worked the last year pretty hard on just trying to create better climate, better culture, and create an atmosphere of a place where kids can learn and feel safe.
That's awesome, man. So, what were you doing? So you were working at a dealership. I'm thinking that was like, what, 2012-ish, 2013-ish, something like that?
Yep. So when I first got done college basketball, I did a little bit of traveling with real basketball and played in Puerto Rico, tried to go to France. The overseas back then just wasn't my cup of tea. Just and not even the basketball portion, just the living portion.
Right.
I'm not a very cultured person when it comes to food, and I like what I like, and I wasn't very diverse in eating different things. And
you're a West Virginia boy, man.
Yeah, and then just being around different in an isolating type of setting. There wasn't as much, like there was no TV, there was no cell phones, there was none of you had to have phone cards. So like all
I remember that.
Makes it a lot harder being overseas for an extended period of time. For a couple of weeks, not bad. You're talking about 8-9 months out of a year.
Yeah,
a little different. So
makes sense.
Didn't care for that stuff. So came back, played in the D League for a year or two, and just kind of made myself a promise that if I wasn't where I wanted to be by a certain time frame, then I was going to get out of it and just kind of focus on real life and focus on raising my kids and being there for my kids. So then I got back to my hometown and did a little bit of some different things, got into social work, and then fell into I always wanted to sell cars. So I got into selling cars. I did that for about 3 years and loved it. Still one of the most enjoyable jobs I've ever had. Had a lot of fun with it. Made good money, but it's just a lot of time. It was a lot of time that you had to invest to be available. Like when are people available to buy cars? Well,
the time. Yeah.
Weekends.
Weekends. Yeah.
So with a family, I wanted to make sure I tried to find something that fit my schedule better so I could be around more. So I got into teaching and just kind of climbed that ladder of being a teacher in special education, and then assistant principal and then principal.
That's awesome, man. So I'd noticed you worked at one of the Dutch Miller dealerships there. Is that right?
It's Miller's Chrysler Jeep back then. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Is that Chris Miller? Is that the guy that owns all those? The guy that ran for governor?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay, different guy. Wasn't sure. He's when I first started on YouTube, he sponsored one of my first channels.
Okay.
Chris Miller, the guy that ran for governor. Really, really good dude. But yeah, that's never mind then. Yeah, man. So I had a half sister that worked at a dealership, and man, she made like several $100,000 a year. So I've heard, you know, she's beautiful too. I've heard you can make good money at it.
Yeah, you can make a ton of money doing it, and it's a lot of fun. And just helping people. So it can be a lot of fun. It's just a lot of time.
Right, for sure. Okay, so you're in this situation with your kid here. He's going to D2. He's going to play at Lees McRae. What's that looking like? When does he basically leave and everything?
Yep. So he'll be going down early August and getting situated down there and kind of getting rolling with their school and working out and kind of getting ready to see where he fits within that program and trying to find his role and his responsibilities there.
Awesome, man. Well, we're looking forward to keeping up with it. Hopefully there'll be some film out from Lees McRae so I can keep the track, or if I can coordinate with one of you guys, maybe every now and again, send me a cut up or something. I would love to promote it, you know, as far as I'm a fan of his and I'd want to, you know, keep track of how he's growing and doing. That way I can keep up with it. And if people need to hear about him, I'll absolutely use my platform to help with that. So big fan of you guys and your family. And one last question I had for you here is, how did it feel to have your last name become an adjective? You've been Pittsnogled.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask me. I don't pay too much. Back then, I especially didn't pay any attention to it. And even
really,
even now I don't. But a lot of people bring it up, and it's cool. It's cool to have that kind of be a staple of kind of what had happened back then, and I think. Hopefully, I mean, at some point, maybe he can play on it. He did sign a deal with Go Empire Agency as an NIL agency, and they'll be representing him. And so hopefully he'll get an opportunity to kind of take over that era of advertising and stuff.
Yeah, it's because listen, for sure. And especially even if he doesn't really, but if he goes up to the next level at any point, doesn't matter what school he's at either. That last name got some equity. So you'll be able to use that, and I'll buy a shirt for sure. So just let me know, man, buy a hat or whatever. If it's got Pittsnogle on it, that's awesome. It's because it represents us just that way in a way. Now it's kind of, you know, it's like when the music puts their music out there, it becomes everybody's kind of in a way. Right. So I feel that way about that era and that last name and stuff in some ways. So appreciate you guys for coming on here, man. Is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on that I didn't bring up?
No, I mean, you had a lot of stuff. It was good.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it, guys. Quinzy, man, good luck to you, bro. Like I said, I've been watching you, even though we haven't really made contact before now. I've been watching you for a few years, man, and I'll definitely keep track of you, and I'll message you from time to time.
Thank you.
All right, guys. This is going to let them out of here. Kevin and Quinzy Pittsnogle. Thank you guys so much, and I'll holler at you guys another time.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Yep. See you later.
See ya.
All right, guys. I appreciate you all for joining in on this one. This has been a fun episode. Obviously, something I don't get to do a lot is interviews with the former players. So this was great. So if you have any extra questions for either one of them, let me know in the comments or, you know, whatever. Just put it in the comments, and I'll direct them to you know, I'll give them the link for this YouTube video. That way they can maybe answer some questions or something if they have time. But hopefully you liked the video. I didn't really know how it was going to turn out with former players. You never really do know. Some guys are talkative, some guys aren't. You know, I knew based on the past from Kevin, like he can be, but he also maybe won't be. You just never know. But I had assumed since he agreed to do it that it would be pretty good. It was a fun stream. So did I see somebody say that LeRon Dew's committed to West Virginia, or is that what's going on there, Dylan? I see it in the chat there. Did something happen? Do I need to get off here and do another stream? Let me know. I guess I could check X while we're live here really quick to see if anything happened. Did something happen? I don't know. Somebody let me know. I see that's one that's already happened. Yeah, so I guess I'll just check when I get off here. I appreciate you guys for joining in. I'll go ahead and just start checking around to see what happens. That's really it. I don't think I have much else to get into. This was a fun one, and I do have another stream planned, but if it just depends on if there's any commitments or not. So there's been some things being said about some of the players West Virginia's brought in, like you look at Fred Perry and how much his name's been mentioned, or Cam Vaughn, who's on a bunch of different lists, and I wanted to talk about those guys. So maybe we'll do that here in the next hour or two. I'll go ahead and do a stream if there's nothing else out there. I'll do a stream on the Jack State guys that we got in. Fred Perry and Cam Vaughn have really been mentioned a lot. Cam Vaughn's on a couple lists as like one of the best receivers. Fred Perry has been brought up by everybody from Jamoy Robinson to people I've spoken to privately to if you look at Zach Alley, he talked about him the other day. He was the only name he mentioned. So maybe I need to go look at Fred Perry again. Not that I didn't think he was already awesome. I did. But I guess it's just I look at him as an enforcer, a guy that's going to come down and make big hits and big tackles. I just wonder about him in coverage a little bit. Not that he's bad at it. I just didn't think that was what he was exactly known for. So doesn't mean that he won't be amazing. I guess I was just wondering if he would be able to stay on the field. Okay. So Laurent Deuce threw his West Virginia hat and signed with Indiana. Wow. So was it a disrespectful throw? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, kids do that all the time anyways. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off here. I'll be back in an hour or so with another video. So I'll see you guys then. I'm out of here.